Greetings everyone, BG Weiler here with you again for another episode. I think, what's this, episode 27 now? Of the Tyrian Adventures, and we are here in probably what is my number one favorite outpost in all of Prophecies, and that is Beacon's Patch. Last episode we went through Frost Gate, including the bonus mission, which gave us a little bit of trouble on the first pass, but we went easy mode and took care of that. So first things first, let's get our quests. Old Mac and his pet devourer. Delgemore Bowl, which we are actually going to be doing, clearing out this episode. Okie dokie, you can count on me. Thank you. So I think I always found this probably to be one of the coolest looking outposts in the game, which is I think one of the reasons why it's my favorite. Plus it's multi-level. I think I said in the previous episode it was disappointing that, you know, the original design of the game wouldn't let you explore into the housing and stuff and huts and stuff like that, but this is, I mean, this sort of makes up for it. Just being able to explore through multiple levels of this thing, and just the scenery just looks spectacular. I always thought the Shiver Peaks always look good, but I think the scenery here, the structures and everything, just how it just looks so cool to me. So it's one of my favorite. Here we get a look at Lornor's Pass. Technically, I guess, considering the level of the mobs in here, part of the southern Shiver Peak. So basically, it's a max level, which is level 20 here in the original Guild Wars. A max level. I think I need to clear some inventory. Yeah. Max level area. Oops, where am I going here? I am doing this. And I can do that. Let's go down. There we go. I probably should get this out of the way first so we can get more look at the scenery. Dang it! Head back to the merchant. Highly salvageable, is it? We'll see. Wedges of Attunement, that's not bad. Well, hello, Vizen. Yes, hello, Vizen Coco. Yes, hello. We see you. Fortunately, we are all full up. We've got... you know what? Now I can sell this stuff. Aaron, who will be accompanying us on this exploration. There's really nothing here I need. Alright, so let's clear this out. Thank you. Thank y'all. We gotta go down and then up. Down. Thank you. And that's out to Deltramore. We don't want to do that. I'm gonna go up these stairs. Let me there we go, pull out a little bit more. There we go. Ooh. And we cross the bridge over Lornar's Pass. Now we are actually on Harbor Mountain that is actually in Lornar's Pass. Of course, we are still in the outpost. There's the one portal that takes us to Lornar's, and there's the other one that takes us to Deltramore. This was always one of the things I thought would be cool, especially in Pre-Searing Ascalon, where you can go out into, I think it's Lakeside County, that's immediately outside of Ascalon, and you can go over towards the lake. I pointed this out in one of the episodes where, in one of our earlier episodes where we were still in Pre-Searing, where you can go out and see where the actual PvP matches take place when you actually go into the mission that takes you from Pre-Searing to Post-Searing. And I always thought it'd be cool if you could go out there into the explorable area and actually see one of those matches going on. So this is another one of those instances where I always thought it would be cool if you could go here in Beacon's Perch and actually look out to see if you can see anybody exploring here in Lornar's Pass. Of course, unfortunately, due to the instancing and how the game was designed, can't really see that, but this is a really good shot of Beacon's Perch. Of course, we can see people running around Beacon's Perch in certain instances. So this will be our only view of Lornar's Pass for quite a while. Be some time before we come back up this way. So I think we actually have to go through, well, obviously we have to go through Kryta, then the Maguma Jungle, then we do South Kryta, and then we do the desert, yeah, because South Kryta leads us to the Crystal Desert. So actually, the Southern Shiver Peaks is the penultimate area of the game before you get to the Ring of Fire Island chain. And here we are at the beacon itself, which I presume gives Beacon's Perch its name. Although there may be a dwarf also named Beacon. But here, presumably, is his perch and his beacon, which obviously you cannot interact with. It takes you up pretty high here in the Northern Shiver Peaks. There are a few mountain peaks taller. Another good look down into the Lornar Pass Valley and into Beacon's Patch. But enough of the scenic touring. Once Aaron is prepared, we'll just stand here and admire the scenery of Beacon's Patch while we let Aaron prepare herself. And when she's good to go, she'll just take us right out into Deldrimore Bowl. Telling me she just needs another. She just needs to hit inventory or Zunlai storage, and she'll be ready. Alright, we will be on our way in a minute. I don't think we are close enough to actually be able to see her. So you know what? She's going to run up the stairs from her. She's running up the stairs. Can we see her running up the stairs yet? Let's see when she comes into view here. Come across the bridge. Oh, there you are. I see you now. And there she is. Alright, let's head out. And there she fades away. Alright. Out we go to Deldrimore Bowl. And we actually want to start with this quest. Because to Kryta obviously is one of the primary mission ones. This is actually the next to the last area of the northern Shiver Peaks we need to explore. I actually forgot until I looked at the quest list that there is Griffin's Mouth. Smaller area. That is the it's basically just a cave in between here, the Deldrimore Bowl, and Kryta. Okay, let's go feed Joe here. Now, if I remember, the succulent junipers are like the little plant-like things. Those little, oh, they're called different names in different areas, but those little pop-up seed type things. Deldrimore Bowl does take a little bit of time just from exploration's sake. Oh, I gotta get used to a different keyboard position here. course, for my live streams, I have my laptop, different sections, so it's like off. So I'm always hitting the damn wrong keys. Fortunately, it doesn't make that much of a difference. It's just very wide and winding pathing around here in Deldrimore. That I do remember. And full of centaurs. Old Joe joins us in battle. Obviously, these are areas I have not actually visited or explored, let alone quested in. Since, of course, I originally did it with all my characters, and that was many, many years ago. So obviously, the last group of characters I would have taken through here would have been my Nightfall characters, so that would have been shortly after 2006. So basically, these areas here, I've actually probably not have been in since 2007, 2008 at the latest. So a good 7 years. That's, yeah, one of the reasons, besides, of course, the end of the 10th anniversary of Prophecies, why I'm doing this, just to recapture a little bit of those good old days of gaming, of Guild Wars gaming. Oh, and there's one right there. I don't know if we actually need old Joe to kill these things or not. Where is old Joe? Did he die on us? I know, so we just gotta pick up the meat, that's all. Alright. Let's kill these things then. 10. Feeling our little devourer power get killed some here. Partner, I should say. Just run back to old Mac and see if that does it. Otherwise, we're going to have to restart this and clear out the bad guys before he... Actually, we might not have to, because we could just give it to... We should still have these things in inventory. Going, yeah, so we're gonna have to restart, I think, yeah. Right, went and disappeared on us, alright, so it's, oh, wait, maybe not. Oh, there he is. Yeah, so let's give this another whirl, yeah? Here, Joe. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Excellent. There we go. I thought that sounded a little loud. Any longer. Okay, so we gotta run back in here and complete our quest. Interesting. Now we are more fire right now. Not really necessary, thank you. And we have now, the deserters. Indeed I can. So I should run down through this side just to make sure everything's cleared here. All the way north, exactly where we need to go. Deldramore dwarves. Presumably, Deldramore is their home base. Nope, I'm not getting down from there, am I? Stuck on the bush. Oh, we have a boss. Here we go. Zeta's made it quite a fair distance. Monkey Deserter. As you may notice, 2 henchmen are now level 10. Whereas in the Borderless Pass and the False Gate, they were level 8. So, presumably you'd be around level 9 or 10 at this point, once you reach Beacon's Patch. Get the supplies. Yes, we've recovered the supplies. Okay, good. I think I thought there was some sparkly glow. I guess Aaron already got it. Five. I fear we need to go up here. I think there's a boss. Oh, of course I can't shoot through a tree. Or walk through one. Mm-hmm. And we have the little village of Deldromor out here, don't we? I think it's the village of Deldromor. Damn, cool. If I remember right, there are merchants or something up here, I think, too. One of the armor collectors? Let's take a look, yeah. See how much that we've got this central pot. We need to clear out, so we're going to have to do a couple of loops here. Hamlet, oh, yeah, yeah. There's a chest. Yeah, all right. Sounds like it's hitting metal. Must be a lot of iron in that hillside there. up there. Alright. Collectors. Okay, so what we got? Okay, I think if I recall correctly, yeah, we still got 40. Yes, alright. Oh, he crafts some rare items there. Interesting. And you have the Wilderness Survival Mask. Alrighty then. I seem to vaguely remember coming to you guys. My original ranger. So I think that change, what they offer changes based on profession. The chest is there, isn't it? But I'm not trying to click that, I'm trying to click that. Thank you. There we go. Retained. I still need quite a few unlucky points. Where's it jinxed? Yes. Less than 200,000 at least, anyway. It's quiet down in these parts. Oh, dang it. Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, I think I'm just going to spend the next couple of years farming 9 rings. Actually, at this point, 12 rings. I think, statistically speaking, if I remember the wiki right, 12 rings is more economical for getting unlucky points. You're just standing there, dude. What are you doing, Ranger? Oh, I have to report to you. Figured you were standing there for a reason. Are you kidding me? I've got to go way back there. Fortunately, just a stone's throw away. Actually, I think this is the path we have to clear anyway, if I recall correctly. But I still have to... Oh, there's the other cross path. I think that's it up there. So I just got to map out that little bit up there. Yes, there's one. Oh, look, y'all made it past the other 5. You couldn't make it past that last one. That should leave us 2. Alrighty then. Which should be these guys. Itchy. Alright, that takes care of that. clear out this little bit here. So stand there and take it like a centaur. Dodge in the block, really. Dodge that. Can we sneak by him? These invisible walls. Yeah, she's gonna wait for us at is it Griffin's? I think it's called Griffin's Mouth. Up that way. Since we got most of these areas cleared anyway. So we just need to do a little bit of map clearing. Let me see here. Can we loop around that part? Ah, we missed that little. Yeah, I gotta get, I think, in there and right up there. And then I've got to run all the way down south again. Let's do it this way. This might be the quickest way to do it, going this way. Well, yes, henchmen only. For the most part, I do have my level 20 friend who usually accompanies me, just to make things slightly easier. In the earlier episodes I did start out, she had her heroes with me, and I figured, well, in all reality, we probably don't need heroes all that much. As long as I just have her with me, we could do it with henchies. Give it more of that old school feel. So far, except for a little bit of an issue trying to get the bonus done yesterday in the Frost Gate, we've been able to do it. Plus, of course, I am a little bit over-leveled for this area too anyway. So the first times I ran through this, I usually like to farm XP anyway to be a bit over-leveled, but I wasn't quite level 15 as I recall. I think I was probably closer to level 12, 11 with most of my characters going through these areas. And of course back then it was only henchmen. You had no choice. And so this does bring back a little bit of the old flavor from years ago. Oh yeah, Otog's Cry. Hey, I don't think I have that, do I? I got Call of Haste and Call of Protection. Pretty sure that comes with a quest. I think we still got quite a few skill quests in Kryta. So I do remember using that quite often on my original Ranger, or at least having it on the skill bar anyway. Yeah, the only reason I'm level 15 now is actually when I was doing the episodes in Post-Searing, I over-leveled myself just so I could play through one of the perma-pre quests that they added later on in the game, just to show one of those off. Otherwise, normally I would have just gone, once I finished all the quests, just gone right to Post-Searing from there. Yeah, I think just to play it safe, I'm going to have to go up in that little finger up there. I think what I'm going to do is just run past these guys. Again, maybe not. There's a little bit too many for the henchies to handle. Leave my healer alone. Too late, she's dead. Thank God the henchmen bring res signet. Yes, it's still, obviously, there's not as many people in Guild, regularly playing Guild Wars now as there used to be since GW2 came out. But there is, I mean, really, if you go into even during these times when there's no festival events, obviously during the festival events there are a ton of people who come back to play those. But even during this time, if you pop into Kamadan, Kamadan's really the biggest outpost now for people to hang out in. Obviously, in all the American servers. If you go any of the international European ones, it's pretty much you won't see anybody. Everybody hangs out in the American districts now. But even now, yeah, if you pop into Camden, there's still quite a few people there, and to a lesser extent, Lion's Arch. And there's always a steady stream going through Great Temple of Balthasar, too. Anytime I pop into there, there seems to be a few people hanging about. Guild Wars 2 just simply did not appeal to me in the slightest. I considered it. I was actually, when they first announced it, of course, way back after. Actually, I think they announced it. Did they announce it before Eye of the North? I'm trying to think, because one of the reasons they did Eye of the North was, I think, because Eye of the North is an expansion, I should say, is because they, at that point, were already in the early stages of GW2. So I think sort of around the time they released Eye of the North was when they started talking about GW2. So obviously I was excited for it, but as more and more they described what they were going to do with the game, how, you know, the changes that would be made between, you know, the differences, it just didn't really appeal to me. So I find this game here, Guild Wars, to be, you know, rather unique in its design methods, obviously, and that was one of the appealing factors for me. And of course, with Guild Wars 2, the ArenaNet, the new ArenaNet of that time, of course, by the time Eye of the North released and they began working on Guild Wars 2, really the original ArenaNet really didn't exist at that point. There, you know, you still had Colin, I think, in there, a few of the other main guys, but the bulk of the team and the leadership by that point had changed. So obviously, you know, they changed, you know, along with the change of direction for Guild Wars 2, making it more in the traditional style, which, I mean, I'm not saying that's bad. I play a ton of MMOs casually, in addition to the core 3 or 4 that I play on a regular basis. They're all enjoyable, but in terms of Guild Wars, that's not really the type of Guild Wars MMO I wanted to play. Plus, I just had a real issue with them adding engineer. To me, it was sort of, I'm not that big into immersion. I am to some extent immersion and role-playing, but it's not the end-all and be-all of my enjoyability in the game. But for me, having the engineer in Guild Wars 2 was just a little bit too far out of the realm of immersion and role-playing for me. So I think that was, just having that as a profession was the final nail in the coffin. And of course, getting rid of some of the other professions that I love. I mean, I'm not a big monk player. When I do play monk, it's as a smite monk. So I've never really tried healing in MMOs. So I imagine if I tried, I'd be pretty bad at it at this point, unless I really focus on it. And since I play more casually, that I figured being a healer would probably take more time and dedication than I'm willing to put to it. So I've always played Smiter Monk, but nevertheless, getting rid of the monk profession just didn't seem right to me. As well of course, is missing some of the, you know, the special faction and Nightfall professions, which hopefully, I mean, obviously they're coming up with a new expansion. You know, fans have always been clamoring to get Cantha back into Guild Wars 2, but again, you know, that's where that's an ArenaNet thing or the lack there of the Cantha and Alona continents being in the game a result of NC Soft's influence. makes it, you know, the game, you know, Guild Wars 2 a little less unappealing to me. Yeah, profession-wise, I mean, that's I mean, you can look at how they did the professions in Guild Wars 2 one of two ways. I mean, on one hand, it makes sense for them to do what they did, because obviously, I mean, anybody who played this Guild Wars, even semi-casually, to where you were focused on you know, different builds and stuff like that. As I've said in previous episodes, I was never really focused on playing a good meta build. I've always just come across, the builds I've always made have just been ones that, hey, this looks like this would be a cool combination to try and play. Oh, look at that, another chest. So obviously, any of the characters you might see me playing are most likely going to be less than optimal builds. But even so, just going through the years and years of buffs and nerfs to various skills and builds, and I've always said in the forums, whenever there were arguments about certain buffs and nerfs and how that affected PvP, PvE, and then of course they had the big PvE and PvP skill split, I never really envied Izzy's position on the ArenaNet team. So just, you know, whatever you might think of Izzy, I always gave him a lot of respect for at least trying to maintain some sort of semblance and balance in Guild Wars 1, which is really, I mean, again, I mean, with the sheer amount of combinations with the skills and the combinations of builds that you can make, it's obviously not going to be an easy job finding a very good all-encompassing balance here. So what they did with Guild Wars 2 sort of makes sense in that respect, but yeah, if you're one such as myself who just likes being able to play off the wall stuff, or even, you know, be a min-maxer or whatever, you know, having this secondary professions adds a little bit of, you know, fun element to the game. So not having that in Guild Wars 2 is definitely a bit of a disappointment. Well, I gave him respect for at least being in the position that, you know, if I was a game developer, I would probably not want to have in that respect. I mean, obviously the what monk skill was it? The one monk smiting skill that they basically nerfed into the ground and made completely useless instead of actually attempting to try to make it balanced. Yeah, that was sort of like a cop-out in my mind. But yeah, that's how I look at things. It's like, would I want to have that job? No, I would not want to have Izzy's job. So I give him respect for at least taking on the responsibility. Whether, again, like I said, whether you think he did a good job or not, you know, at least he made the attempt to fill. Yeah, Smiter's Boon. That was it. Fill that role. Okay. I think we are good here for Deldrim War Bowl, indeed. Now, I've always wondered, so obviously that looks like that's an explorable area there, but I don't think it's part of either north. See, I wonder if that's one of the actual developer zones there. So obviously you can see that little bit there. It looks like it would be an explorable part. The fog here, and you can see it's definitely a difference between even unexplored areas, where you can tell, yeah, that's an explorable area as opposed to, no, that's an unexplorable area. So I always wondered if that there was part of one of the development team's areas, because there is definitely one in Nightfall. Because there's actually a gate that leads into that area. I recall people talking about at that time that actually leads into a developer zone, so to speak. Yeah, I'm not much of a PvP player, so I can't really speak to some of the, obviously just from what I've read and witnessed and watched when Guild Wars was in its heyday. Obviously, guild versus guild stuff was pretty good, and I think obviously from what I hear from Guild Wars 2, although the concept of the world versus world battles is interesting, it just never panned out. And obviously, of course, because of the not graphical issues, but what the hell did they call it? But the issues they ran into at launch with not being able to see anybody else on the battlefield, that did not help Guild Wars 2 PvP in the slightest. Oh, this is part of the Delgermore Bowl. I was about to say, I thought this was Griffin's Mouth. I did not go through a portal yet, have I? No, I have not. So this takes us to Griffin's Mouth. See, for me, I think it's the sign of a good PvP is the fact that you can hold competitions like they did for Guild Wars 1. They held those big competitions for the first few years, and so to me, that's a sign of good PvP when you do something like that, and when you can hold stuff that like they do for StarCraft and Dota and that kind of stuff. And you can do that for a typical MMO. To me that says, you know what, they did an admirable job at the least for PvP. Now for Guild Wars 2, obviously, maybe there is, but at least when I was following it, there was really nothing mentioned about stuff like that. So to me it seems that they've sort of let PvP go by the wayside for Guild Wars 2, which is a shame, because even though of course we could always get into the old debate of whether this game is PvE centric or PvP centric, regardless, having a good PvP element to the game only makes it better. Yes, indeed. Griffin's Mouth. Why would... I never even thought about it that way, but why would they call it Griffin's Mouth at that point if it does not look like a Griffin's Mouth? Then again, do we really know what an actual Griffin's Mouth would look like? Oh yes, Aiden's markers. I remember that. Okie dokie, let's go. So what do we got here? To Kryta the ice cave. Oh yeah, I gotta get back to Peak and this perch at some point. We'll do that afterwards. So what do we got? To Kryta the ice cave, right? Because I did refugees. I did. Obviously, I think that was the other ranger I had to complete that on, right? Yes, okay. So now, through the rest of the cave here. I mean, now that Guild Wars 2 is free to play, or at least that's my understanding, I might go back and give it a try. I did actually, I mean, I gave it the benefit of the doubt, even though by the time the betas and the stress tests launched, I was like, yeah, no, probably not for me, but I gave it the benefit of the doubt, and I've said, all right, if I can get into the betas somehow without actually having to pre-order, and thanks to having some friends in the right places, I was able to get some beta keys and actually get in the game. And it just, I mean, as I said, because at that point during the beta tests, there was a lot of back and forth. There's an Aiden marker. I don't think I need to pick it up, but it's there. About, even then, you know, whether Guild Wars 2 was better than Guild Wars 1, this and that. I gave it the benefit of the doubt and said, all right, let me give it a try and, you know, see how I like it. Maybe I'll be wrong and I'll actually like it played. But even playing in the first 2 betas, I was like, you know, it's good. It was enjoyable, but it just like I said earlier, it wasn't Guild Wars. It wasn't the Guild Wars I wanted to play. Is the best way I can describe it. It wasn't the Guild Wars 2 I was looking to play, and so to me it was just like an average experience. And I said, you know what, I'm not going to put myself through that. I'd rather be wholly excited and really into a game when I'm playing it. So I just said, nope, not for me. And of course there was that whole manifesto thing, which I knew, which as soon as they released the manifesto, I was like, no, bad idea, because logically speaking, what they were trying to accomplish was just not going to happen. And the whole thing with the dynamic events, the way they initially hyped up dynamic events, they said, no way. There is no way you're ever going to be able to make dynamic events work the way everybody wants them to work and would like to see them work. Is that there's just no way you can do it. And obviously now, you know, you can see dynamic events don't have the permanent lasting impact on the game world, and they're more or less, you know, I don't know how they are now, but I imagine they are still Zerg fests when you have people playing them. So it's just the whole hype before the game also turned me off the way, you know, just the way ArenaNet was talking, and it's like, no, it's not how it's going to work. I can guarantee it. Damn, these guys not down? There we go. I didn't think that. Ooh, but I'm about to die. Because that actually, well, now that I aggroed that anyway, might as well go ahead. So I do remember, I can actually go up that way, and there's a Drake boss up that way, or at least a Drake. Pretty sure he's a boss if I remember correctly. Yeah. The large chains only exist in a few places. Yeah, yeah, I guess that's sort of like the how they term it, the linked instances for dungeons in the Eye of the North. Really didn't turn out to be what you would think that would be. Because for me, when they started talking about dungeons for Eye of the North, and how these would be linked instances and stuff like that, you know, you'd assume, oh, okay, so you go from one level to another and everything carries over. You know, you're basically exactly what it is. They're all linked together. You're just going from, you know, one floor to another, stuff like that. When in all reality, it's just, you know, not any different from going from Deldramore's Bowl to Griffin's Mouth here, you know. You have your bonus that carries over, but nothing else does, you know. If you have a minion master, your minions are all gone. The bonus, the shrine bonuses you got are gone. You got to start fresh on that floor. So it's one of those things, just the terminology that they used really misleads to the actual reality of how the design was met. So that's one of the things that disappointed me about the dungeons, besides the fact that, you know, it was a lot of reskins, and when I think of when somebody mentions dungeons, I think in terms of dungeons, i.e. wizardry, or, you know, Forgotten Realms, the old classic dungeon crawling games. And why the dungeons in Guild Wars, or Eye of the North I should say, are interesting and can be fun, although I find a lot of them to be more of a headache. But again, that's because I run unideal builds, both for my characters and obviously just basic hero builds, so it makes it a little bit more problematic than running an ideal group build. They're just not, you know, when I think in terms of dungeons, I think of the classic dungeon crawls. There's a boss over there, isn't there? That's Aaron's object. Where did I just... Yes, there he is. So we're almost through here. Yeah, I sort of remember this place giving me a headache back in the day as well. I do actually have them in inventory, right? Yeah. Okay, we are almost through, so that's the actual way out. Let's go finish these guys off. So actually, yes, this is the back way out, isn't it? Dodged again. Come here, you. Alright, there we go. No, I have no elite skills at the moment. Don't remember when you can actually start capping them. I'm pretty sure that's not until after Kryta where the bosses start carrying the elites. Let me think. The Crystal Desert, yes. Southern Shiver Peaks. The Warner's Pass, I think, has a few that you cap. Desert missions, okay, yeah. So I remember having to run friggin' Southern Shiver Peaks up teens times to get the right spawn. Because in Prophecies, at least, the bosses that spawn in most of the areas are random. So I remember having to just keep running, check. Nope, wrong guy. Yeah, he is a boss there. Wrong button again. Why don't you guys join into the fight, huh? Go up over this way. So, you know, that's one of the things I was sort of glad for when factions and well, even Eye of the North, but basically all the other campaigns after Prophecies, the bosses always had, you know, the bosses always had set spawn points. So that made it, you know, a little bit less time consuming to grab for basically your skill hunter title and to grab the elite you want. So I know there was the one boss in the Ring of Fire that has the bandit skin. I actually think there's two of them and they switch off back and forth, but they basically patrol the whole Ring of Fire. So it's like, not only do you have to hope the right one spawned, but then you've got to go find what their patrol pattern is. Of course, if you're going to cheat, you look it up on the wiki. But still, then you've got to run around Ring of Fire and hope you run into them. Yes, Colt. Yes, Maxine. Because there were more than a few times I came up onto the spot where she was. I said, oh yeah, there she is. Let's go get her. Oh yeah, you've got 20 mobs to fight through before you can get to her. And by the time you're done, she's gone. There's Master Aiden. Scoundrels rise. Oh, there we go. Why, thank you, Aiden. I appreciate that. What else do you have for me? Okie dokie. Which one is that? Journey's End. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, ironically enough, all the trouble you have to go through to cap elite skills, I mean, aside from the fact that, you know, you have the Skill Hunter title, but of course, you know, back in the vanilla days before there were titles, and you just map cleared just for the sake of map clearing and captured elites just for the sake of capturing elites, you know, all that pain in the ass work to go through for elites that most of them you'll never ever use. Hence, again, why, you know, you can look at what they did with Guild Wars 2 and say, yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense. This is a portal. Okay, that is the portal. And thus ends our adventures in the Northern Shiver Peaks. So yes, that's old Warner's Pass there. Okay. We should have everything cleared out. Yep, alright. Just got to remember at some point I've got to get back into Great Northern Wall and clear that point out, and a little bit over here too. From the breach. I think I could do a little bit of the breach there, but that's neither here nor there. Finally, after 27 episodes, we reach Kryta. Ambassador Braun. Now, I was unaware of the undead problems Kryta was having, because, you know, Ascalon's got a few problems of its own. Sure. I'm sure she could. So at this point, let's just head right to Gates of Kryta. And then we can save actual exploration here of Scoundrel's Rise and perhaps even get through the Gates of Kryta next episode. Ironically now, every time I see a zombie in Guild Wars, the Cranberries song starts going through my head. Alright. Yes, if we go do south, yes. I should remember because I know there's, what is it? There's some, that's right, the Halloween quests take you to Scoundrel's Rise. I know it's like I should have this pretty much memorized at this point because this is one of the few areas I do visit every year, unlike say most of the Northern Shiver Peaks, which have been years since I've been through. Aaron? No, we are going to Gates of Kryta, please. I should remember how to get the Gates of Kryta pretty easily here because the one Halloween quest, I think it is, takes us out to this way. which we're actually we're just over a month away from that. Well, I don't remember undead being down this path. I do remember the scale being down here, so this is probably just because it's part of the quest. Oh, for God's sakes. Dang it. Wow, you're bored. Basic stuff there. I do have to do, you know what? I still don't have any... I haven't gotten a poison skill yet, so I want to start using my feathered flatbow. There we have it. Oh my goodness. Oh look, we've got a few people here. Justinius? Who are we? Avalan Draka. Alright, my fine ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us on this expedition through the last of the Northern Shiver Peaks. Oh, more Scoundrels Rise. So join us next time, whenever next time may happen to be. Oh, it's the frog. Oh, where'd you go? You little bum. You ran away. Oh, there you are. The frog, he still exists. Anyway, where was I before I got distracted? Ah, yes. Whenever next time may be. Trying to think. When is the next time I might have a couple of hours here and now? I don't know. But anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us in chat. And for those of you who are watching the recap of this on YouTube, why aren't you joining us on Twitch and doing it live? Because you are weeks and weeks behind our live streams. But anyway, everyone, thanks for watching. I hope everyone enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed doing it. And so until next time, I will see you in game.